Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you out came out there pushing His word with all truth and sincerity, and to all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. It's the brother Quara Abad from the GMS Houston camp, and I just want to go into a lesson as you see on the screen. It says from the U.S. Department of Defense. It says Space Force flag unveiled at White House, man. And that's what I want to go into on this lesson. You see, I want to touch on the war in heaven, as the scriptures say, man. Right? Because as you know, like I was looking on Google before I went ahead and started the lesson, just typed in on Google war in heaven just to see what they had, And they had like images from like Renaissance art and like, you feel me? They literally had like angels, fighting a literal red dragon, like right here. You see, because we also know in the scriptures use similitudes and parables. And when they speak of the war in heaven in Revelation, as you about to get, John had a vision. John, a apostle, like the people call him John the Revelator, he had a vision. As the scripture said, on things that was to come. Well, we living in a time for those things to come and happen. Like in Habakkuk 2, it says, and at the end it shows speaking, not lie. Well, look, it's speaking right now. It's speaking in the end. You see? And the Most High sent out His prophets to give you the understanding thereof, man. You see? And it says, it shall not lie. Why? Because the prophet's not just speaking, but the earth is coughing up proof to show that what we saying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai is for sure happening before our eyes, man. And that's why I want to touch on this war in heaven, because the war in heaven is in the scriptures. And America is here talking about they got the Space Force flag ready. Why? Because they know it's going to be a battle in space, man. They know this. You feel me? They know this, man. Right? But like I was saying, this what they have, for the little pictures, like Renaissance art, a literal dragon being fought, getting, fighting angels, little white angels, but that's not gonna happen, man. You see? Matter of fact, let me get a quick precept. It's Hosea 12 and 10. It says, the Most High speaking. He says, I have also spoken by the prophets, right? This is who gonna give you the interpretation thereof. It says, I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions. The war in heaven was a vision that John received. And the prophets are here to break him down on what that vision meant. And it says, it's the point, and use similitudes. Just because it said a war in heaven and a dragon, and don't mean it's literally talking about a literal dragon, man. It's a similitude. Why you think the apostles actually Hawashai? Why speakest thou unto them in parables? Because it ain't given to everybody to understand. And it says, and by the ministry of the prophets, right? But I had this article up real quick so you can get a good look at the Space Force flag. So, this day Jersey, this day Jersey home jerseys for when they fight Yahweh Shai, man. Because that's what it's talking about. You see, that's what the war in heaven is talking about. The war in heaven is talking about Esau Edom and his system, his military might, along with the militaries of the nations, right? They're going to gather together and fight against the Son of the Most High, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, whose real name is Yahweh Shai. You see, the military of this earth, of this world, starting with the so-called white man military, right? When the Lord Yahweh Shai make his second coming, the militaries of this world gonna fight against Yahweh Shai and the angels, man. That's what the war in heaven is talking about. You see? That's what the war in heaven is talking about. Now, I want to get two quick clips from two presidents, a former and present president of the United States. You see? Right? Because what it say, matter of fact, I'm going to read the scripture for y'all real quick, and then we'll get the article or the videos. It's Revelation 12 and 7. It says, and there was a war in heaven. Now remember, this is a vision that John is receiving on things that was to come in the future. Well, look, we 2,000 years later, well, look, these things are about to happen. It says, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. You see? Now, what is the dragon talking about, man? Right? Because remember, they had a first dragon before this dragon. Now, who was the first dragon of the beast before this one? The Roman Empire, man. You see? Now, real quick, I'm gonna get a quick precept just to prove it's another dragon after the Roman Empire, man, which is America. This Revelation. Uh, Let me see. Revelation. All right, here we go. This Revelation 13 and 11. This is talking about America. And I beheld another beast come up out of the earth. Now, who is the other beast? America. You see, the beast before was the Roman Empire. The other beast is America. It says, come up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, right? Which those two horns are talking about the Democrat and Republicans, the two parties. You see, just like in the Roman Empire, they had the two parties, the plebeians and the patricians, the same system. And it says, and he spake as a dragon. You feel me? You know, he spake as a dragon, right? That dragon. Now, example of that, you have your Democratic parties, your Republican parties. They tell you, they seem like they're trying to help the people and, they for the people, but really they putting in certain laws and unrighteous decrees, draconian laws that don't help the people, man. So they act like humble lambs and he here to help you, but they really not helping you. Like it says, his mouth, right? His words are sweeter than oil, right? Softer than smoother than oil and soft as butter. One, paraphrasing. It says, but in his man, let me see. I don't wanna paraphrase it because this also talking about the so-called white man. And I'll get back to this. I don't want to get too far off the point. But just how the white man get down, so-called white man. It says Psalms 55 and 21. It says, matter of fact, 20, he have put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He have broken his covenant, right? It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawing swords. And that's a so-called white man. But continuing on in Revelation 13 and 12, and it says, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him. Talking about America, they do everything that the Romans did, man. You see, the system, the Senate, laws, even the structure of America, man, just as Rome. It says, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. I just wanted to get that to show that America is that new beast, right? Now let's go back to Revelation 12, right? Revelation 12 and 9, Salaki 7, it says, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, man. So the dragon is the system of the so-called white man. It's the reason it's red, right? And the dragon consists of who? The NATO and the EU. And NATO is the military portion of the system, man, which America is a part of. And America, which is the whore rideth upon the beast. She controls the system, man. You see? So Yahweh Shai, Michael, and the angel go come back to fight against the militaries of this system. Now let's real quick take a little quick detour, and I want to get these videos in of Trump mentioning the Space Force and also Ronald Reagan back in 1987 mentioning the Space Force. Why? Because the dragon understands eventually it will have to have a war in heaven. Eventually, man. And we literally seeing it with our eyes. John Ben wrote about this 2,007 years ago. It's playing out before our face. We know why exactly America is getting a Space Force because we know the so-called white man and his military gonna have to fight against Yahweh Shai and the angels, man. They're gonna have to defend their kingdom. We know this. We see it, man. Let's get it though.
When it comes to space, too often, for too many years, our dreams of exploration and discovery were really squandered by politics and bureaucracy, and we knocked that out. So important for our psyche, what you're doing. It's going to be important monetarily and militarily, but so important for right up here, the psyche. We don't want China and Russia and other countries leading us. We've always led. We've gone way far afield for decades now, having to do with our subject today. We're going to be the leader by far. We're behind you 1,000%. When it comes to defending America, it is not enough.
When it comes to defending Babylon the Great, the mother of all harlots.
Enough to merely have an American presence in space. We must have American dominance in space.
You see that? So that's why they going out there in space, because they know eventually they will have to defend America. Let's play it one more time.
Dominance, American presence in space. It is not enough to merely have an American presence 1,000%.
Here we go.
When it comes to defending America,
defending his system,
it is not enough to merely have an American presence in space.
It ain't enough.
We must have American dominance in space.
Mm-hmm.
So important. Very importantly, I'm hereby directing the Department of Defense and Pentagon to immediately begin the process necessary to establish a space force as the sixth branch of the armed forces.
Ooh, boom, there you go. It's the sixth branch of the armed forces of his military might, man. They understand eventually they will have to strap up, strap your cleats on, put your helmet on, put your pads on, and buckle up, and eventually they're going to have to go to war with the Lord, man. They know this. It's written. You see?
A big statement. I am instructing my administration to embrace the budding commercial space industry. We are modernizing out-of-date space regulations. They're way out of date. They haven't been changed in many, many years.
All right, let's get to Ronald Reagan. You got the point. Now, Trump wasn't the first one talking about that. Let's see what Reagan said, man.
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Hey, that's he don't even know he was low-key prophesying. Because we gonna get the scripture to say when the Lord Yahushua make his second return, his entrance is gonna be during World War III, when all the nations' armies are fighting. Right? And we're going to get that, later on. But it says, and once Yahushua and the angels showed himself in the heaven, all the armies of the nations going to stop fighting each other and start fighting against Yahushua and the angels, man. Ronald Reagan, he just said it. Telling you the beast, the dragon, knew eventually he was going to have to fight out of space.
Antagonisms of the moment. We often forget how much...
I'll play it through one more time. We'll get into the scriptures.
...unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
And again, the alien threat, it ain't so-called green alien men in these UFOs. No, the UFOs are the vehicles of the Heavenly Father, man. And the angels, man, just like the so-called white man got his spaceships and aircrafts, military vehicles, and you feel me? Well, the Most High have his military vehicles as well, and that's it. They call UFOs in this world, but we know them as the chariots of Israel, man. You see, it ain't green alien men with big eyes up in the no. That's the angels of the Heavenly Father.
Yet I ask you, is not an alien force already among us?
Right, they are already here, man. Let's get into the scriptures. Let's go back to Revelation. Now we got a little more understanding of this beast. This dragon, eventually he gonna have to have a war in heaven. There's Revelation 12:7. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Michael and the angels in heaven, literal angels, right? And the dragon fought Esau, Edom, and his rulership, and his angels and his military might go fight against the literal angels in heaven. It says, and prevail not. The so-called white man, his military not going to prevail. You got to think. Yeah, they got top of the line technology and equipment and missiles and aircrafts. But you got to remember, the chariots is a whole different ball game. Your aircrafts can't disappear and appear. You see? Matter of fact, let me grab a quick precept. Elder Yahshua always bring out this precept. You see? the so-called white man and the armies of the world, they military vehicles can't do far as much as the Most High vehicles can, man. Let me bring out this quick precept. This is Isaiah 31:1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. And Egypt, the new Egypt is America. It says, according to Revelation 11:8, it says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots. You trust in this man military to help you. It says, because they are many, right? Because they the hammer of the earth. Because nobody can make war with America. So you trust in America's system and his military to protect you. It says, because they are many and horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh, man. It says, verse 3, now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, and their horses flesh and not spirit, right? Your vehicles, your military equipment is flesh. It can get destroyed. It can get messed up. You can't defy gravity. You can't defy the law of physics. You can't. You have limits to what you can do. It says, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that hopeth shall fall down, and they shall all fall together, right? But the Most High vehicles of spirit, a chariot can cloak itself. You could shoot a missile, and it cloak itself right before it hit it. So going back to the point, the so-called white man won't prevail. Let's get it. Verse 8, and prevail not, you see? Because you can't battle against the Most High. And prevail not, neither was there a place found anymore in heaven. Meaning what? When Yahweh Shai come, the so-called white man go lose his rulership. Heavens means rulership, your kingdom. You see? That's why in what 2 Peter says we look for new heavens and a new earth. We looking for a new rulership like the apostles was in Acts 1:6. When they said, Lord, would thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? We looking for that new heaven. But when Yahweh Shai come, he gonna take the so-called white man rulership away. That's why it says Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man. In 2nd Esdras. You see? So the so-called white man gonna lose his rulership when Yahweh Shai come and fight against him. Verse 9, and the dragon was cast out. Watch this. This key to tell you who this dragon is. And the dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels was cast out with him. Now, many people would say, well, see, this was in heaven when, Satan rebelled against God, and he got angels to agree with him, and they fought against angels, so the Most High kicked them out of heaven. No, that's not what that's talking about. Let's read it again. And the dragon was cast out. So after the fighting with Yahweh Shai, Michael, and the angels, the dragon lost. It says was cast out, that old serpent. What old serpent? That serpent from the garden, that same spirit that was into Cain. That same spirit that went into Esau. You see, that same spirit that's in the so-called white people today, which is Cain and Esau descendants. This is that old serpent. This is that dragon. It says, called the devil and Satan. Now, to prove is the so-called white man, because this dragon, that old serpent, is called the devil and Satan, right? Let's grab this, because Satan got a physical counterpart on earth. Just like the Most High, he sent his physical counterpart on earth 2,000 years ago, Yahweh Shai. Just like he got his physical counterparts on earth today, the prophets. Well, Satan got his physical counterpart on earth today, doing wickedness, man. Let's prove that. Let's find out who is the dragon, who is the old serpent called the devil and Satan. The 2 Thessalonians 2, I'm going to get straight to the point to prove the so-called white man is the physical counterpart of Satan. This is what the scripture is talking about. 2 Thessalonians 2:7. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 6. And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. And that's why everybody is realizing the so-called white man ain't nothing but the devil. White man, woman, and child. Nothing but devils, lies, murderers. Because he's been revealed. This is time to be revealed. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Because why? When this was written in Thessalonians, Apostle Paul is writing that to the Thessalonians in Thessalonica, telling, look, they've been wicked. They've been doing this. It's a mystery. But he only go be doing this to the Most High. Let him do it. But it's the point. And then shall that wicked be revealed. So the subject matter is the wicked. We talking about the wicked right here. Now let's take a quick detour. Let's find out who the wicked is, and we're gonna go back to that because we about to find out who is this wicked representing on earth. Is it the Most High or is it Satan, that old serpent? Well, let's find out who the wicked. Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom, the so-called white people, the nation of Edom, white man, woman, and child, this is talking about you, the nation of Edom, whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them, the whole nation, not just Esau, the whole nation, they shall call them the border of wickedness. They shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever, righteous anger. The Most High never gonna love you. You see? But the point is, Esau, Edom, and his whole nation is called the border of wickedness. Wherever a so-called white person at, wickedness gonna be there. Now, I just want to get that. Let's go back to 2 Thessalonians real quick, and we're gonna get into this war in heaven. We just have to establish who is this dragon. But 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8, and then show that wicked. Who's the wicked now? We should know that, right? Esau, Edom. Then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him, talking about the wicked, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. So the white man, his deeds is after the spiritual demon in heaven, the spiritual angel in heaven, Satan. He doing Satan work on earth. Just like the prophets and Yahushua and righteous men and women was doing the Lord's righteous works on earth. Well, the so-called white people doing Satan work on earth, man. It says, even him who's coming is after the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders, man. Now, just we got that to show the white man is the physical counterpart of Satan. Now let's go back to Revelation 12 and 9. And the dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. So we know that this dragon is the wicked one in his system, which deceiveth the whole world. What it said in what it said in 2 Thessalonians, right? He deceiveth them with what? Power, signs, and lying wonders, man. With all deceivableness, man. Talking about the same person. This is who gonna fight Yahushua and the angels. It says, and deceived the whole world, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels cast out with him, right? Because this whole system, every Edomite, every heathen gonna lose power when Yahushua come. You see? And to prove when Yahushua come, he go fight against Esau, because what the scripture said, Esau is the end of the world. We the beginning that follow. In Lamentations 4, after Esau, it says what? This our last captivity. So when Yahushua win, verse 10, it says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power. So after Yahushua destroyed Esau, Edom, and his rulership, guess what? We gonna rule. Shit, we ain't even getting to the one in heaven yet. And it tell you simple and plain on what it's talking about. And the power of his Mashiach, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, because who was Jacob's brother? Esau, which accused him before our power day and night, man. You see? But let's get into this war in heaven. Let's get into it. Right? This Revelation, we're going to stay on Revelation real quick. This Revelation 19 and 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called faithful and true. Now, it's not talking about, Yahushua not coming back on a literal white horse. Yahushua coming back on a so-called UFO. Matter of fact, standing on a UFO. Because remember, in Acts 1, when the disciples seen him taken up into a cloud, the angel said, this same Yahushua whom y'all seen taken up into this cloud shall come in like manner, the same way he was taken up. And what's the cloud? What it says in Psalms 104 and 3? The clouds are his chariots, man. Yahushua was taken up into a chariot. He gonna come back on a chariot, man. You see? But it says white horse right here, which means what? Pure power, man. You know? And it says, and he that sat upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doeth judge and make war. Hold on. Now I thought Jesus Christ loved everybody. Why is he coming back to make war? Because just like his father is a man of war, he a man of war. He about to take what's rightfully his. That was given to him for the foundations of the world. So he coming back to make war, man. We're gonna find out, make war with who? It says his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. Now the Lord ain't gonna be coming back trying to balance buku crowns on his head. No, that's talking about he. Matter of fact, let's get a quick precept. That's talking about he come and take down all the kings and rulers of the earth. This Psalms 110 and 5. The Lord at thy right hand shall. Now who is at the right hand of the Heavenly Father? Yahushua. So watch what he gonna do. The Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. Come on. I thought Jesus ain't have wrath. He gonna strike through kings, man. The reason for all those crowns. It said, he shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries, man. You see? Revelation 12 and 19 and 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High, because he is the Word of the Most High. Now, why was his vesture dipped in blood? Woo! Real quick, Isaiah 63 to also prove that this dragon is Esau Edom, because it said the Lord in Revelation just now, his vesture, his clothes will be dipped in blood. But it's a prophecy of Yahushua on why his clothes was dipped in blood. Real quick, Isaiah 63 and 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? So Isaiah's getting a vision on Yahushua after he destroyed Esau Edom in America and their rulership. He's seeing a vision after this. So he said, who is this coming from Edom, right? With dyed garments from Basra, him that is glorious in his apparel, that travel in the greatness of his strength, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thy red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. Same thing Revelation says. So who is this talking about? The Lord, man. And we're going to find out why, right? And now the Lord ain't literally going to have just blood all over him, symbolic for how much death the Lord going to bring. Revelation 19 and 13 again. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, as we just read in Isaiah 63, coming from Edom. It says, and his name is called the Word of the Most High, and the armies which were in heaven, the angels, right, on the chariots, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he shall smite the nations, and he shall rule them with the rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty power. We just read that in Isaiah 63, man. He gonna do this going to Edom. He going to Edom to do this. Because Isaiah said, who is this coming from Edom? Just did all this, man. Yahushua, him and the angels. It says, and he had on his vesture a name, Salak, and he had on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Verse 19, and I saw the beast. Matter of fact, let me see. I'm going to start at 18. It says, I'm going to go to 19. It says, and I saw the beast and the kings of the earth, right? Who was the beast? That dragon, right? Esau, and his military, NATO, you know. And it said, the kings of the earth, right? The ones who's reigning Esau right now. And their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. You see, that's not talking about a literal dragon gonna fight against the angels. No, it's talking about Esau Edom, the so-called white man, and his rulership, because he is that devil, that serpent of old. He is the dragon. They're gonna fight against Yahushua and the angels, man. You see that? Real quick precept wise on my spirit, just popped in my mind. Let me get it real quick, and I'm gonna go back to that. It's like if I'm talking fast, man, you know, a little excited. It's all good. I think it's like 2nd Ezra 8 when it says in one realm against another. Let's see. If not, it's like, okay, I got it. Call Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, man. 2nd Ezra 13. Well, we about to go to that in a few, but I'm gonna get it right now. 2nd Ezra 13 and 29. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. That's talking about Yahushua coming. It says, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another. You gonna have race wars and class wars and right wing and left wing and citizens against the government, right? All these wars, it says city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and watch this, one realm against another. A realm, man, is matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna just type in realm, a kingdom, or dominion, man. So Yahushua, the angels in the heavenly kingdom, dominion, coming to fight against the earthly dominion, which is the rulership of the so-called white man. Because remember, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked in Job 9:24. So the kingdom, the Yahushua and the angels in heaven go come fight against the militaries on earth, man. One realm against another, man. You see that? One realm against another. Right. Well, back in Revelation 19 and 19, and I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and the armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army, Yahushua and the angels. And the beast was taken with him, the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that received the mark of the beast and them that worship his image. These were both cast alive into the lake burning with fire and brimstone, right? Because they're going to be destroyed when they fight against Yahushua and the angels. And let's get more into depth on that war in heaven, man. You know, Salaki has been a little, lingering, long-winded. I just wanted to get certain parts to specifically identify who is this dragon that Yahushua and the angels go come fight against, man. Right? Let me read this on the screen. This Second Ezra 13, because this is literally gonna give you more in depth on how it's gonna be when Yahushua come back, man, to fight against the angels. You see? But this is Second Ezra 13 and 1. This is Ezra speaking. It says, and it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. So he had a vision. It says he about to go into his vision, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. It says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Who is this man right here? It's talking about Yahushua. We just read how he coming, him and his army, to fight against the dragon. So Yahushua waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. It said the same thing in Revelation 19. It said it right here. Verse 13, Revelation 19 and 13. He was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name was called the Word of the Most High, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. So it's talking about the angels, right? Verse 3 again, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong, Yahushua, with the thousands of heaven, the angels, and when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. This is talking about during World War III over there in the Middle East. Yahushua gonna make his appearance, man. And let's prove that. Real quick, this is Matthew 24. Real quick, Matthew 24 and 27. It says, for as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Right? You know, you got the lightning. Just use the sun. The sun, it come what? It's rise in the east and set in the west, right? Well, guess what? Just like the sun, Yahushua gonna do the same thing. He gonna come, show himself in the east, and make his way to the west, to America. But let's get real quick, and we're gonna go back to Second Ezra 3 on where he gonna where it is that he gonna make his appearance at in the east, man. Because remember, he gonna come back during World War III, in the midst of Jacob's trouble going on. But during World War III, the Lord, the Son of the Most High, gonna come back. Him and the angels gonna fight, man. This is gonna be the war in heaven, man. But this one he gonna show himself real quick. Joel 3 and 2. I will also gather all nations. Remember, the dragon gonna fight the military of the beast and the militaries of the world, man. Right? It says, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Yahushua, right? Yahweh's judgment, the heavenly Father's judgment, and which is what? Over there in the east. That's why Yahushua got to start in the east. It says, and will plead with them there for my people, because Yahushua come and plead our cause, man. It says, and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, all the militaries of the world, right? And gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened and come to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. And this is talking about World War III. And this is when Yahushua gonna make his entrance, man. Right? Let's go back to 2nd Ezra 13. 2nd Ezra 13 and 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth felleth when it filleth the fire, because out of the chariots they will be shooting lasers and fires and beams. It says, verse 5, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number. We just read that in Joel. During World War III, they was gathered together to fight in World War III in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. This is what it's talking about. This is the same ones in Revelation 19 who was going to be gathered to fight against Yahushua. Let's get that again. Revelation 19 and 19. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. You see, talking about literally the armies of this earth, starting with the so-called white man, gonna fight against Yahushua and the angels, man. I keep saying it because that's what the war in heaven is. And we about to see that. That's why Trump and them trying to get a space force. You feel me? It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue that man that came out of the sea. You see that? So they go stop fighting against themselves, like Ronald Reagan just said. They're going to stop fighting and start fighting Yahushua and the angels. They're going to stop shooting, you feel me? Stop shooting missiles and go stop and look at Yahushua and fight against him and the angels, man. Let's play this again.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Boom, he said it. He said it. Now let's read in the scripture real quick. Let's go down. This 2nd Ezra 13 and 32. It says, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I showed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, Yahushua, whom thou sawest as a man descending, Yahushua. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another, like Reagan just said, right? One against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting, man. You see that? Reagan just said it. They gonna stop fighting and fight together, man.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat,
Yahushua and the angels,
to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Come on, man. We reading about it, man. And this was written way before Ronald Reagan old ass said that, man. But Revelation, 2nd Ezra 13 and 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men, the armies of the earth, out of number from the four winds of heaven, right? World War III. From the four winds, all the armies of the world, to subdue that man that came out of the sea. They all go try to come and get Yahushua. It says, but I beheld, and lo, he graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. This is talking about Yahushua. What's that great mountain? Talking about a chariot, man. This how big his chariot gonna be. A so-called UFO. This how big the Lord chariot gonna be. And he flew upon it. The Lord gonna be standing on the come on, man. The Lord gonna be standing on the chariot. Why you think it said all eyes shall see him? He gonna be stunting, man. The Lord of Judah, you know, Judah, Israel stunt, period. But Judah, the ultimate number one stunters. The Lord of ultimate Judah. You don't think he about to stunt, man? It says, but I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. Right? Ezra tried to look and be like, damn, where the mountain came from. But he like, I ain't see nothing because it wasn't no literal mountain. That's how big the chariot was, though. You see? So Yahweh Shai flying on the chariot right now, man. And it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. They gonna be scared to fight against Yahweh Shai, man. But the Lord gonna have to put it on their spirit to fight him, man. You see? The Lord gonna have to put on his spirit to fight him, man. It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, when he seen everybody fighting against each other and turn the tanks towards him, you feel me? Turn the guns towards him, and you know, right? Turn all they weapons towards him. It says he neither lift up his hand nor held sword nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Talking about coming out the chariots, man. He's shooting fire. He don't have to. The Lord don't have to pick up. You know, he on his way stand on a chariot, and everybody the military of the earth start shooting at him. You feel me? The Lord ain't got to raise up his garment and pull out a Glock 9. You feel me? A 45 or something, man. Come on, man. The Lord don't need to do that. Pull out a sword and start. Come on. It says, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Come on, man. You see that? This is what that war in heaven was talking about. Yahweh Shai. We got the same thing in Revelation 19, Revelation 12, Joel 3, 2nd Ezra 13. Yahweh Shai go come back and fight against Esau, Edom, and his system, right? And against the armies of the earth. This is going to be that war in heaven. This is going to be the war in heaven. Esau and his fighter jets. You know what I mean? Let me see. Let me type in military fighter jets. You know? Esau and his fighter jets go be in heaven. You feel me? Let me see if they got anything typing this. Yup, this is exactly how it's gonna be. Look, well, not exactly how it's gonna be, you feel me? But look, you're gonna have fighter jets fight against, UFOs, and yeah, man, it's gonna be the war in heaven. It's gonna get real. It's gonna get real, man. This is what that's talking about. And after Yahweh Shai destroy him, he gonna make his way over here to America. Let's get that. 2nd Ezra 13 and 49. Now, when he destroyed the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remain. Now it's time to gather together the elect. But this is what it's going to be, man. This that one in heaven. You see? The Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Chakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there, pushing his word with our truth and sincerity, man. Look at this, man. Come on, man. You feel me? Yeah. But hey, with that, hey, Shalom.